Good evening, everybody. Let's do a brief sound check, video check. How's everybody doing tonight? How about you, Nick? How are you?
I am good. Can everyone hear and see me all right?
Sounds good by me. Sounds good. All good, all good. I mean, don't you just, I absolutely just love when things work out pretty well like that. But let's just dive into it. Let's start off with our Topstep risk disclosure in the YouTube chat. We all know this is for education purposes only, and he's not a signals class. It's always funny to see traders joke around about that. Fade this, fade that. Ultimately, it is on a delay, and that's why we do that disclosure. But let's get started. How was your day? What are you looking for going into tonight and tomorrow?
So my day was pretty good. I guess as good as it could be. I went into today kind of knowing it may be sloppy, it may be choppy. You know, the roll pretty much shifted volume to the Z contract shortly after open. I think we had more than 50%. And usually when that happens, as we're kind of making that transition, it's not a great trade for the day. You just kind of need to wait and let things settle out. So I was pretty much going into this morning's session with the mindset of, you know, if you can get out of today with a Topstep like $200 winning day, qualify as a, positive day towards payouts, that should be a goal on a day like today. And, get in, get your points and get out. So I pretty much did that, albeit I did short to the basically near the high of the day, pretty much around 57.30 on the Z contract, and only took it for about 2 points, basically got out for I think total in two trades that I made for about a little less than $600 to basically qualify for my fifth $200 winning day. So I'm actually planning on taking a payout with you live on Slow Markets this evening.
Oh, actually, that's a great point. I forgot to let's see if I could do that. Let me see if I have the skills to to tell everybody that there's a payout. That's so cool, Nick. I'm horrible at letting traders know. I'm not much of a marketeer or someone to market or say stuff or even ask for likes.
Yeah, hit that thumbs up button.
Yeah,
we're just going to start with that right off the bat.
In the description. Coach Dakota, let's do it. I'm doing that for a new description.
Yeah, and I think you and I have slightly different mindsets with payouts. If you guys don't know my style, I'm on the leaderboard. It's awesome. It's great. But I quietly take like $10,000 payouts regularly. That's if I can get an XFA to, 7-8 grand and hit my 5 days, I'm taking half that balance. Like it doesn't make any sense in this game. And especially when you're doing this full time to not take money off the table, make it real. I've done this before where you get a balance on an XFA or an account from 0 to 10 grand and then watch it go back to 0 without, claiming any of that money. So I tend to do that pretty regularly. I may not always call it out and you may not see it on, some of the largest payouts for the day, but I'm constantly looking to take, small amounts of money kind of out of my accounts, out of the markets to pay myself, pay my bills and continue to move forward on this full-time journey that I'm kind of on. So tonight, the plan is to take about 15 grand out and then have these accounts still ready to go. I also have a few XFAs banked in my back pocket too. So, taking the balance down and giving myself maybe 2 days worth of poor trading to survive, that's okay. If it happens and we have to start over again, so be it. But that's the name of the game. Get the money out, put it into your pocket.
Love that. Love that idea. And yeah, everybody here at Topstep, me, you, everybody in the chat, we are all on our own journey, right? We each have different needs that we're working on and that needs to be met, how we're going to be taking payouts and all of that. So it's on your screen. When do you want to do that? I don't mind if you want to do it now. We could do it later. Whatever up for you. I'm taking care of a few
Let's do it now. Hopefully, I had this set up because sometimes if you guys know, it can take a few minutes to kind of load. So I was trying to get everything, squared away. So I think we jumped to my other one. I don't think I'm going to jump to all 5 tabs, but I'll try to do this so that at least works. But I'm taking 3,100 out of each one of these XFAs, a little less than half of my balance. Let's see if it goes through. And it did. So let me jump to this next one too. and I'll do a couple of these, live with you guys. Hopefully this continues to not break on me. That's always my fear, but I did get all these kind of loaded up once the dashboard reset. So there we go.
$3,100 in 5 of those XFAs?
31 times 5. So 15,500 will be north of Topstep split to basically get me about 14,900 or 13,950, I believe is the exact number. So nice little payday for the week for me. But like I said, guys, I do this pretty regularly, or at least I try to. I did this very much back in kind of Q1. I was doing this, I would say, pretty much weekly out of XFAs and of my live account. I was taking one or the other. I was trying to take about 10 grand out just to continue to live my life and do these things. So it'll be a tougher battle to continue to build the balance back up, but that's the name of the game, is to get the money out, put it in your own pocket. So we're going to continue to do that. And I'm trying to get better about, as much as I want to build these accounts up, I'm so tired of seeing my balance go from 12 grand back to 3 grand. And then, trying to dig yourself out of that hole and then just feeling like an idiot that it's like, well, I could have just taken, 25, 30 grand out of the markets and not thought anything of it. And if I have to reset, if I have to go through combines again, another cycle, at least I feel like I got something out of that little, transition out of those XFAs. So I'm going to try to get better about doing that more often. And I want to show you guys when I do it.
So here's a question for you, Nick. How's your risk reward on that? Because we're all here. Everybody in the chat is here to make money at the end of the day. And they're looking at how much they are putting into combines, into XFAs in order to take that payout. So how do you see this? Some traders and some people I talk to, they look at it as like, this is a business expense, this is a marketing expense, whatever it is to them. And then they look at, maybe they've went through a few combines, maybe they've went through a few XFAs, and then they ultimately get to that payout, and that payout is, much bigger than what they've put into it. So how is the risk reward looking for you? How do you view that? And how is it working on your end?
So since kind of transitioning full time, you have to kind of shift your mindset. Whether this is passive income for you or, pretty much your main source of income, like it is for me, you have to think of, utilizing Topstep and utilizing sim funded and things like that as, the cost of doing business at times. Obviously there's a startup cost to go through combines, and I'm not necessarily someone who blows through them, but I understand the risk reward equation that, hey, if I'm investing, let's call it $700 worth to get, I think it's more than that actually. I think it's $1,500 technically, right?
Yeah. And
300 times 5, $1,500.
Real quick, we don't get free combines.
We do not.
I wish. Nope. I pay for my combines just like you, Nick. And you could confirm that. Yes.
Yeah, guys, there's no freebies here, even for Coach DBA and I. We're still paying our own pockets here. Exactly. So yeah, that $1,500, you got to kind of factor that in. And if it takes you 2 tries and it's 3 grand, okay, then I know what I need to take out of the market to at least go into it with a mindset of like, what do I need to break even on this transaction? And then from there, you're kind of playing with house money. So for these, I'm playing with house money, and it in fact has paid for even my activations on the ones I have banked. So I now have, let's call it another 10 in my back pocket that are already paid for, funded. If I can't get them off the ground, then, the equation went a little negative or whatever, but most likely I'm still going to be, a net positive out of these, looking at that as, 4,500 total across those 15 in theory. So I tend to look at it with that type of mindset where if my cost is X, I need to pull out Y to feel like, I'm doing well enough. And my risk reward on trades, guys, I've been trying with these specifically to let my winners run a little bit, but also not be greedy on days like today, days like yesterday. I think my day yesterday was my 4th $200 day, and I took out about 300, and I did it on fast markets with Dakota. I wasn't seeing anything that I was in love with. I took a couple scalps, got in and out of a couple trades, single lots, 2 lot, on ES, on NQ. And, if I wasn't seeing any setups really present themselves, I'm more happy these days to take a $200, a $500 winner of a day than keep trading and trying to hit that, $2,000 trade, $3,000 trade only to have it come back and then me hitting a daily loss limit. And then those accounts are basically dead. If you don't have a cushion, if you're working from that zero balance, you need to do that. You need to see where it's a day like today. We already kind of had one move. You may not get another very tradable action type trade to make you some money, but there's probably enough there for you to skirt by with a $200 winning type day. So there's always the importance on doing that. And you can do that with micros too. You can scale in and try to get out for a couple $100 and, say, hey, the market's, it's not really presenting itself in the way I would like to kind of be holding on to some long trades and really trying to catch a move. But I can skate out and check that box to get towards 5 days so that I can take a payout, so that I can make this money real. So trying to also do better about that versus letting a $200, $300 winning day turn into a daily loss limit.
No, I agree with you. I mean, yeah, I'm watching through some of this chat as well. Similar mindset. You're going through this. Some of the traders are asking, how many combines have we went through? How many XFAs have we went through? I'm sure you have your number. I mean, we all go through combines and XFAs, or as we transition to a live account. Everybody. Man, I can only imagine. I've seen some crazy stories of traders blowing through combines and XFAs. But as I'm continuing to go through this, a lot of people are starting to do a lot better. I love to see the positive. It looks like one trader was trading for, JC says, 5 years of learning, and you are waiting for your first payout. So very excited. Awesome. Glad to see that. Passing your first combine. So there... Wow. There's a lot of traders here. 20K approved in 48 hours. So that's a great one to see. Another question. As you go through this, and as you say you purchase combines, or you transfer and get into an XFA, and say you blow them, does that change your mindset? Like you said, you're taking a payout. You are using that payout to also cover the expense of buying combines or XFAs. Does that change your mindset of feeling like, oh, I need to trade and I need to make money to cover this or to cover bills in any way?
I mean, it definitely does. It's just a larger factor in kind of the equation that I use to, at this point, live my life. You guys know I have a little girl on the way that'll be here shortly in the coming weeks. So it's all very important for me. And I have those struggles. I think I was even talking about it in Rip's community a few weeks ago, where I had even taken a step back from trading combines because I just wasn't trading them well. And I wasn't trading them even with my style. I was trading them to pass as efficiently and quickly as possible versus trading my style and the way I usually execute that works well in XFAs and in my live account. I had just gone away from that and was, almost trying to size into hitting it in a few trades. And when you get into that mindset, it's just a quick way to burn through them. So I took a break for, I would say, about 4 weeks from even bothering to trade combines, outside of, here and there on the show, just to have something to do for everybody. But same thing, when I was doing that, I was trading more my style. When I'm trading, to pass them, in theory, this last cycle where I did this with 15, it was me trading my usual plan, me waiting for levels versus, all right, I'm going to try to pass this on the next trade. I'm going to throw a 5 lot on NQ and see if I can catch 50 points of it. When you get into that type of mindset, it's an easy way to start burning through them. But when you trade your plan, when you're patient, just like you would be trading real money, real capital, suddenly things click. When you're trying to gamble to pass them as soon as possible is when you will fall into that trap day in and day out. And it doesn't matter how good of a trader you are. If you're not patient, if you're not waiting for the right opportunities, you will fail combines. And I got into that cycle until recently again. And it had been a couple months until this, or I guess my last XFA payouts, that I even had gotten. I probably went 2 or 3 months without really taking any money out of XFAs. I took money out of my live, but it was because of this cycle I was in, which was just trying to get them off the ground as quickly as possible. And, just trying to take money off the table instead of just getting back to what I do well, which is take my points, get in, get out of trades, and, take money off the table.
Yeah, no, great point. That's kind of what we want to go through. And for everybody listening, for everybody in here, I just want to make this clear. This is slow markets. Typically, we do trade. We analyze the markets. However, guess what? Tomorrow's FOMC. It's a huge day. It's a Super Bowl, one of the major events. The markets are extremely slow. We'll continue to talk about that, but this is also just as important. Is not only going through strategy, not only trading in front of you guys. You get to see that every single day on TopstepTV during the day show. When I'm on there, when Nick4Atick's on there, I talk about strategy and go and analyze the markets each night. We'll do a little bit of that before the end of the show. It's a nice long show for everybody, but also talking about payouts, right? Talking about what we are all in trading for. And that's to make money. And how do you take out payouts? Because you don't just purchase account and then you make hundreds of thousands of dollars without any risk. I mean, that's nice. And maybe there are traders out there who does purchase one combine and they make a few $100,000 without ever blowing it, right? Or ever struggling. And as I continue to watch the chat, I love to see that and hear your guys' stories where traders are, someone's trade some payouts on their very first year of trading, which is amazing to see. We just finished the rollover, as you guys could see on my chart right here. We're in the Z contract. We just finished up with the U contract. I've seen some traders, if you were already trading the U contract, that's okay. The volume still switched over, and now there's more volume and volatility and liquidity in the Z contract. So traders are going to basically be fully switched coming here at the end of the week. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how tomorrow plays out. Do you have a game plan? Are you even going to trade, Nick?
I'm back in the camp where if I can catch a few points early in the session, I will be done for the day and be sitting there with popcorn. Actually, this is the first FOMC that I actually will be sitting at my desk in the last few months. For some reason, I always had a tattoo appointment in the afternoon into the evening of FOMC day. So I always would be like listening to you during power hour during it, but I never was even in front of my trading station to even do anything. So I will actually be sitting at my desk tomorrow to watch this, but I have no interest in trading this. Like I think I said this on Sunday night too, where I would imagine even the reaction tomorrow, even later in this week with it being options expiration, it may not even be the actual move. It may just be an insane, few hundred points up and down either way. And then next week we actually get something to truly trade outside of just the shenanigans and casino that we're probably going to have tomorrow and to the end of the week.
Yeah, no. And to me, all technical analysis is out of the door. I mean, I'm not looking at any technical analysis tonight in the morning going into FOMC. Maybe some major pivots, like major pivots. You can see over here, this key level 20,000, 248 on this contract, and maybe looking at some of these big pivots tomorrow that we could watch. TopstepTV is going to be covering it. I'm going to be on during power hour, but it's really going to be hands off. We're going to watch how the market reacts, and then as the market starts to react, maybe after 15 minutes, 20 minutes after that, I mean, we do still have Powell speaking. So maybe even after the press conference and after Powell is done speaking, then there could be some opportunities. We love volatility as day traders. Volatility brings opportunity, but trading with the idea that risk management is number one. Maybe you don't even take a trade till Thursday, or there's been a lot of traders that I've seen that is just kind of on the sidelines with popcorn, waiting and watching and seeing how the entire markets around the world, not just the NASDAQ, but around the world, is going to be reacting before they even put any money at risk.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I would imagine, they're most likely. I mean, who knows? We get so much like just-in-time hedging too, like before some event volatility, thanks to the zero DTEs, that you could see a ton of put skew early in the session. And if those hedges come off during Powell's speech, I mean, we're off to the races, making a path towards all-time highs again. It's going to be insane. I have no doubts that it will live up to every, whatever Super Bowl type mindset you want to go into this with. I'm sure it's going to live up to the hype.
let's do. I'm gonna run a poll. I'm gonna run a poll in the chat. What will the result of tomorrow be in terms of the rate cut? Will there be a rate cut? Let's do that. Where are you at on that, Nick? I'm at the 0.25%.
I'm still in the 25 basis point cut percentage type move. I know we saw like Monday it skewed to 62.25 or something percent of a 50 basis point cut. I just don't see it. If it happens, it happens. It's just not what I would put my money on. But who knows, dude? It's election season, but that makes me think we're sitting near all-time highs. If it's 50 basis points, then same thing. Then what are we going to not get another cut for the rest of this year? That it would be possible. I'd be okay with that. But if it's 50 and them still forecasting a few additional cuts for the remainder of this year, then what are they seeing behind the scenes that says they need to, continue to cut like that into Q4?
Yeah, I'm seeing the chat too, kind of leaning towards that quarter, a little bit right there at that 50. I mean, of course, you have the oddball 75, and then a little more. I mean, 0, right? I'm gonna leave that poll up for a little bit. I mean, I'm not excited to be trading tonight or even tomorrow during the New York session, but I will. I might find a few setups during power hour that I'm thinking of during some of that volatility. Just quick in and out, not looking for anything too crazy, but some of these swings that we've seen, especially at the beginning of August, where it was like 100-point range in a minute, and you can scalp. You can make some good money off that. Drop down to micros, scalp, 30, 40 points in just a minute. And it did work out pretty well, some of those good trades.
And you can do it. You just need to, like Dakota said, trade micros, know where you're wrong, know your risk, know areas that actually make sense to enter in. You got to zoom out a little bit usually to do that, given some of the algo spasms that you can get from some of those wicks. So just, as always, guys, be careful if you're going to trade event volatility. If you've never traded FOMC before, I don't think tomorrow's the day to start.
Yeah. How does the FOMC work? How do you reply to that question?
You press a button on the DOM and you pray. No, guys, if you don't know what FOMC is, it's basically where the Fed kind of gives their forecast. They make adjustments to the Fed funds rate, as well as provide, a path to raising rates, cutting rates, and usually during most non-economic cycles that we are usually in, it's a non-event because they typically are holding at whatever the rate is. But given the inflation cycle that we are in, and now the cutting cycle that we are in, FOMC has provided a ton of eyeballs and visibility and just trading opportunities. Just like some of the other event fall, like CPI used to be a non-event, but then during this cycle, it's come out. So it just is a way for the Federal Reserve in the United States to kind of give us their forecast on the lending rate from the federal government. So if you've never traded it, like I said, if this is new to you, if you're new to Topstep, if you're new to futures, and you've never kind of experienced this on a day trading mindset, it's not the day to start. Definitely sit there and watch with popcorn.
Oh yeah, yep, 100%. Yeah, FOMC, it's the Super Bowl for us as traders. If you have any hesitations, or if you've never experienced it before, or if you are just learning how to trade, it's a lot better. Sit on the sidelines, watch it. Come join us on TopstepTV. Just watch it. Watch the markets. You're going to see how crazy it's going to be. And it's not just the NASDAQ. It's going to be gold. It's going to be almost every financial market. I seen one comment in the chat saying it's like a financial Hunger Games, and it kind of really is. It gets pretty dang crazy. It's a fast way to blow up accounts, that is for sure. I don't plan on trading until after it. I'm going through, and I'm
get two moves. You have the initial statement release, and you get that move, and then during Powell's press conference, he gives a statement, and then a bunch of people ask questions. So there's really like 3 moves in FOMC that can occur.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I've been noticing, Nick, and it's going to be curious to see how it plays out tomorrow, but it's not a signals. I did the disclaimer or whatever. sometimes what we start to see, or what I've seen, we've seen it last time, where we have the release and then Powell starts to talk, and as Powell is talking, the market starts to rally. And as soon as he's done, the market reverses that rally that happened while he was talking. So I'm going to be watching that as well, is to see, is the market going to how is the market going to react on the first initial release at 1 p.m. Central, and then how is the market going to react during his conference 30 minutes after that. And if the market does rally during his conference, I'm going to see if it's going to sell off after he leaves the stage, because I've noticed that it's a pattern. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but if it does, maybe that could be an opportunity that I'm going to be watching after that.
Yeah, it always seems to happen in some capacity. I think it just always depends on, how, because like hedges come off. It always seems like they've been right on projections as far as what they were going to do or what they weren't going to do, which was cut or raise, and, kind of talk dovish, which I think a lot of the time was the expectation of the market, at least the last few FOMC meetings. So naturally you get that put decay for any downside hedges that were put on pre FOMC. And then as he starts talking, the market's up, maybe people reestablish some of those positions, or, new hedges are established, or it's just a good way to kind of start taking profit as the market was bid up, call it 1%, 0.5%, or whatever the move tends to be. We definitely have seen that the last few meetings, but who knows? This is the first time we're going to cut. So you may get weird reactions. And like I said, it may take a few days for the market to kind of digest and us to get through September options expiration and to finish rollover before you really get a directional move, let's say, out of this kind of, balance area that we've been in the last few weeks. It may take kind of some of those new positions to be established in the early parts of next week for us to get a true directional perspective on where we may be going next outside of intraday trades.
Yeah. You never know how the market's going to react. The question that everyone asks, and I see it all the time, and I see it everywhere, is this priced in? Is it baked into the price? If everyone's expecting this, then are we going to do that? And you just never know at the end of the day. Like, regardless of what we might think, Nick, and what anybody in the chat might think, where if it increases 0.25%, or if they cut it 0.25%, or are they going to cut it or 50 points, whatever. How is the market going to react? Like, is it priced in? Do we really know? If everybody knew, then, the price would already kind of be at fair value. But that's the beauty about this, is we really never know exactly how the markets are going to react, and exactly, even more important, when they will react. Because you might say, if they cut, 50, then it's going to be positive and we're going to have such a big rally. And it's like, okay, great. What's more important is, like, if not only you're right, but when, because we could also dump 300 or 400 points before that happens, and vice versa. So not only is it like direction, it's also timing, when you're getting in, when you're getting out of these markets. And so I have never seen a situation where my own opinion of how the market should react versus how the market's currently reacting, where my opinion has helped me in my trading, outside of just, I like to look for longs today. And so I just look for opportunities to buy the market, not, we're going long, so wherever we're at, I'm just going to, enter a position, because you do have those fluctuations where we might sell off a few hundred points during an event like that.
Andrew, I just laughed at what he just put in the chat. 1 minute into FOMC, do you guys got any reset codes?
That's usually what happens. That's usually, I guarantee it.
That is why do not trade tomorrow, guys. If you've had a good week, if you're even if you're green going into 1 p.m. Central tomorrow, just watch.
Yeah. That's a big point. Leah, Rex, a lot of what is FOMC and what is rollover this week. I think that also shows everybody in the chat. Let me know. Are you new? Is this your first time joining slow markets? How long have you been here at Topstep? I'm curious because I think that just proves that there's a lot of new traders entering into this industry, entering into trading, entering into futures. And that's an amazing thing to see. So I absolutely do not mind answering a lot of these questions. I actually had a phone call today and had a meeting about, we have a lot of these new traders coming from, all walks of life and from around the world who has never experienced what is a rollover, what is a contract, what's a futures contract, what is FOMC, what are these very basic things, because you're brand new, right? Mm-hmm. You're absolutely brand new and you might not know any of this. And some of the trader lingo that me and you, Nick, talk about all the time, and it's just a language to us. It sounds like a foreign language to somebody who's never been trading for a while. And so part of that conversation is, how do we get all of these amazing new traders who wants to learn futures and day trading and take advantage of the beautiful opportunity that we have here, and maybe get them up to speed, answer these questions. And so stay tuned. That's all I'm going to say is, it's not going to be slow markets all the time, but hopefully we're going to be able to get something really great here for everybody who's new and going to be able to do that. I know that there's like a dictionary on the Topstep website where you can learn about, and there's tons of YouTube videos online. I couldn't even imagine how many YouTube videos are there with people teaching these types of things. But Topstep is second to none. That really is. The last thing I want to have is when traders are coming in here and they're brand new and they get confused or they get started on the wrong path, and it's like, oh, I'm just here, and they start looking at the entertainment side of things, because there is a level of entertainment, because this is a YouTube channel, and all the YouTubers are trying to do some level of entertainment. But at the end of the day, it's less about the entertainment and more about how can I grow as a trader? How can I be better? How can I work towards your goal of getting those payouts and taking that money and then end up doing it yourself on your own? So there's a lot to it, Nick.
Yeah, there definitely is. And I do think, one way to get exposure if you're new, whether you came from Forex or you're brand new to trading, or you were only trading like single stocks and, from your own personal portfolio over time, there's a ton of lingo that we constantly use. I had a DM the other day asking like, what's MGI, which is, market generated information, which is probably the easiest indicator that you can start to, learn and understand how and why markets do certain things. So there's so much content, but this is a good place to always start, especially, this is kind of dumb, but it's slow markets, Sunday night, my show. It's just like the market's not really moving. It's a time you can always ask questions and get exposure from traders that have been doing this a little while, and, really have a chance to get your question answered, or to really, kind of ask in a, non-threatening setting anything that goes on. Sometimes you get distracted too. If you jumped on, we're like fast markets and things are moving 100 miles an hour in the chat, we may not see everything. So this is always a good chance if you have specific questions, or you have ideas, or, things that you've been interested to try to understand, this is always a good forum too, until some of the newer things I think Dakota's alluding to are ready and available and in front of everybody.
Yeah, I just put that link in there. There's a TopstepTV trader lingo. There's a few other great things there, and it's funny. Some of this stuff is funny, and where you might hear us say it, like what's a spread, spoofing, spin cycle, slippage, shoulder. There's a lot. There is a lot as I go through this. I didn't realize how much there actually is. That we talk about that just sounds so foreign. Like if I tell you, what's your position? And you're like, I'm light and tight. Man, I could see how somebody might take that the wrong way.
We need to, I don't know who owns this page. I need to add about 15 words on here.
Oh, I got a list of words. Yeah. What's a
Full port isn't on here. Leroy Jenkins isn't on here. There's some other good ones that we mention regularly on the show.
Yeah, here it is. Yeah, there's a lot to this. There's a lot, and I would love to like sit here and we get to like talk through these. What's this? What's that? But yeah, maybe there's going to be a nice setting in the future for that, and which I keep dropping hints that I'm having phone calls and working and talking with. But yeah, love it. Let's get going. I see crude oil is starting to sell off a little bit. We did touch and we held above $70 a barrel for some time, and just barely we just broke back below, and we just touched 69.67. Yeah, let's just filter through these markets. Nick, let me know if you see anything that might reach out that you are interested to talk about, or maybe some levels that you're watching going into tomorrow. We did see a nice volume spike in gold, which we typically do right at 8 p.m. There's been a nice little volume spike and increase in volatility. But everything to me right now is just untradeable because of FOMC tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. Even looking at something like ES, where all we did was kind of ping pong the top end of the old balance and the bottom end of the old balance. Basically, the value range low to the value range high was pretty much the portion of today's movement. So if you faded the edges, if you took the Nick Dolby range trade, you probably had a good day, since we had a double distribution on ES, but there wasn't a lot. If you didn't catch one of those, you kind of had to sit on your hands, or you probably got chopped up somewhere in the middle. If you see the kind of the second half of the day near those lows, we were basically just bouncing between, I think 5700s to basically 5690, and you probably got chopped up trying to trade that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, let me switch it to your charts. And still getting used to the new setup. Okay, there we go. That's better. And okay, there's your charts. Now, just a few questions. I'm just gonna rattle off some of these questions, Nick.
Yeah.
And just answer them as you can. If I have an answer, maybe I'll answer it as well. Some of these I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. First one that I'm seeing. Can you share how to leverage level 2 data? I just got it, and I need to know the best way to read or use it. So I'm not the best at reading level 2 data. I'm not sure what your experience is on it. I know Coach Jay and Rips is absolutely amazing at reading the level 2 data. But over here on the right-hand side, you can see this is the DOM. I'm not the best at reading it. I'm more of a technical analysis trader. What about yourself?
Yeah, so there's a ton of ways to use it. It just depends on how you would like to interpret it. If you see big orders on the DOM, because you can suddenly see the entire order book, or at least like 100 levels of it, whatever technically it is inside of Topstep X. But it's no different than when you would see liquidity on Bookmap or in other instruments in theory. It just provides you on orders that are in theory sitting on the book to be filled. We don't know exactly if they are people covering. Like if they were higher up, we don't know if that's somebody covering along, or if someone's trying to initiate a short. It doesn't really matter. The logic is they can just act as carrots on a stick at times, and price action may gravitate towards those larger aspects of liquidity. If you're new to level 2, that's how I would think about it, just as in, kind of 101 level of how you can start to kind of interpret it. Price just tends to gravitate towards larger size orders on the the level 2 book. When you're ready for more advanced techniques, there's a lot more that can be used for it when we're talking about things like iceberg orders that are not necessarily sitting on a DOM but are constantly just being added at the market. That's where it gets a little more advanced, and we could spend hours talking about it. But if you're new to level 2, that's where I would start.
Yeah, good. Yep, and we have some amazing coaches on our Discord. Topstep's Discord is absolutely amazing, and some of the coaches on there, Coach Jay, Ray, all of them are great, where they do trade differently. There's different styles. Coach Jay is great with that order book and reading that order flow. And then also Rips, who some of the Topstep partners, is absolutely amazing too. So more than just me, because I don't know everything, I can't answer everything, and I want to even recommend that, right? Where I'm really good at technical analysis. I'm good at the slow markets, maybe putting a trade on overnight, letting it run, and I'm going to be doing more of that once this, as the markets present itself. And I have you on, Nick4Atick, so I tomorrow's FOMC. I don't plan on trading, so it's going to be fun. We don't mind talking through and answering some of these questions. But another one, I seen this, and as you guys know, and you, Nick, We're studying for this series 3. We have a few members passing it. How is it going on your end?
It's going. My book's over there somewhere on the other side of my desk. I was really in the weeds for a number of weeks, and then it took a back seat as I was, handling other things in my life. But I'm picking it back up here in, I'm going to start reading again this weekend. I think I'm actually going to do I found through my, I guess my book or my whatever learning academy that it's through. They do have recorded virtual classes. And honestly, I want to learn, just like you would from like an SAT prep course, I want to learn the ins and outs of how to read some of the spread math questions, like how to understand, like what is it actually asking, and kind of being like, no, it's asking this. This is how, these are the simple way to kind of memorize the different ways these equations can work, because that is what's going to get me. And I know that. And I know it's not the full test, but if I can kind of master the easy ways to read the question, understand which way you should be subtracting and adding what, that's how I know I can have a ton of confidence going into it. So I plan on kind of doing that on a random Sunday, kind of going through a couple hours of some whiteboard style math equation stuff on the series 3, and then I should be good to go. And my plan is to take it in October.
Yeah. I'm asked that's what my goal is too. Sooner rather than later. We already have some members at Topstep that I've seen that they're already passing, and that's great to see. Why the series 3? And the reason why is because Topstep, I mean, not only do we talk the talk, but it's walking the walk, right, Nick? And the goal is to help as many traders. Like for me, it's to help traders get to a funded account. I've really found a lot of joy in that, and also I do trade. You guys see me. I trade every single day. But if you guys don't know what the Series 3 is, it's the National Commodities Future exam, and it's to be licensed. And not only that, when you guys are watching someone and trying to learn from someone, don't you want that level of expertise of, hey, this guy I'm listening to, he has those type of credentials. He does trade. He's been there, done that. He knows what he's talking about, rather than just, another, I guess, person on YouTube shouting at the screen when to buy, when to sell, and to buy the trading buy a trading course.
Yeah. And for me, it's not necessarily like, oh, I want this because I'm a trader and I'm active in it. For me, guys, you guys know I'm transitioning still, in theory, out of one career path and potentially opening a door in this one for me. So it just kind of allows you to do certain things in this field and in this world. And so for me, it's I have the autonomy to do it and start getting certifications and things. And I'm passionate about trading. I'm passionate about financial markets. So for me, it just makes a lot of sense to do it because I have time to study. I have time to, kind of build this into potentially or transition this with another form of career path in this world. So I would like to at least have the feather in my cap and the confidence to kind of walk the walk, as Dakota's alluding to.
Yeah. And here's a good question. This is a fun one. Maybe you can answer this one, Nick. I could answer it, but maybe we could talk more in depth. Where future contracts originate and who puts them in the markets for us to trade. So I will say, and I do know this, that it's the regulated exchanges. They're the ones that create them. They're rich, and we talked about this before. I think this morning too. And correct me if I'm wrong, but they're created there for like farmers. Like that's the main thing, to control the volatility of pricing. And there was even a tulip bubble a long time ago about futures. But maybe you could go more in depth on that.
I mean, as always, I'm not the best person to ask, but yeah, that was kind of the premise behind it. It allowed people to, in theory, not necessarily hedge their positions, but hedge their crop against, the potential volatility in future prices, and kind of created a market for it. How it evolved to like indice futures and other things, I don't know. I do think it's a cool way that, it's kind of expanded and continued to expand. I think there's even Bitcoin futures now. Yeah, I don't know exactly if those are truly regulated the same way that corn is, but it's really cool to kind of see this just be another instrument. And then, think of the evolution that we're alluding to here. Like it was probably very much like behind the scenes or behind the curtain for people that were really in that space, and, people that had that were basically probably the institutions and the banks that were financing some of these larger, let's call it, billions of dollars worth of commodities contract. Now it's open where anybody in a computer with internet connection can actively trade this. And I think that's really, really cool where, it's not hidden the way I think certain financial instruments had been in the past. So it gives anybody the opportunity to kind of get into this market, and it's super easy. And that's one of the reasons I love futures, is to kind of be in and out of a trade in minutes at times.
Ooh, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, like, it depends on your level, right? Like, how in depth do you want to go? Is this? And I see some of the comments like, yeah, all I know is the numbers go up and down, right? It's a market you could trade. We're learning how to trade it. We're learning how to day trade it. Part of that, feel free, ask any question. I don't mind it. If I don't know it, I'll tell you. Futures, I used to trade Forex a little bit when I was younger. The major difference to me is that futures, it's centralized. It's regulated. It's regulated by the CFTC, and it's a lot less. I mean, is it a lot less manipulated? Yeah, you're not going to have countries manipulating their currencies. Yeah, and so it's a regulated exchange, and it's one thing that I absolutely love about futures. Can hardly trade the present. I don't know how y'all trade in the futures. Oh man, trust me, I know. Anything else that you have, Nick? I don't know if you cut out or not. Let me see. We'll get through a couple more questions. Like I said, markets are really slow. I'm not trading tonight. I've talked a little bit about the markets. I'm not seeing anything too crazy going on. Everyone's just waiting. It's FOMC tomorrow. Can you trade the past? Oh, I wish some of the YouTubers trade the past.
Yeah. I know the chat. Sometimes the chat can be a big past trader too. Didn't
MP buy the... Oh, what is it? Hindsightfutures.com or something like that. Seen that somewhere.
I think the Hindsight Capital URL is live. I don't know if it's. I saw some screenshot, but someone may have actually just created something funny in Photoshop. But yeah, okay. I think MP knows that one and a bunch of other domains. The man loves to buy domains.
Yeah, I seen something like that. I didn't know if it was live or if it was just a screenshot, but it is pretty funny. Does the series allow you to trade for other people? I don't think I'll ever trade for another person, to be honest. Oh, there it is. Jay in the link. Okay, I'm reading this one. Should we read this together?
Pull it up. This is
funny. I got this pulled up.
Jay, is this the actual one?
Hindsight Capital TV. It looks legit so far. 215 trillion under management. 5843 portfolio managers, over 7,000 in annual return. Performance, Hindsight 2020. This is just a joke for everybody. No, this isn't real. Hindsight 2020 fund has returned over 7,000 annually since it launched on July 8th, 1932, purchasing the bottom tick of the Great Depression with over 20 trillion. Okay, wow. Whoever set this up, that's funny. A plus 1.7 handicap, must referring to golf, I'm sure. Our team includes hundreds of field medical recipients, former House speakers, YouTube commentator who called out buy zones in the NQ that occurred 20 minutes earlier and 200 points lower if you thrive on low pressure environments. I'm confident that you have made a lot of money after the fact. Hindsight is you. Oh man, we've all been there. Oh look, there's different wow. Oh gosh, thanks Jay, I needed that laugh. That is visionary way sweet. Oh look, there's the disclaimer, this is not a real company.
Did you click give me hindsight because it's funny?
Nice try. If only predict the future was this straightforward. Wow, that is something else. Coach Dakota would love to hear more about your options trading. Oh, maybe one day we'll have an options class, guys. Tonight is not the night. That has Jack written all over it. It has to. It sounds like Jack that created that one. I thought I was wrong once, but I was mistaken. That's why open interest can go up and down. Would you sell any naked options for FOMC? No.
Not in a million years.
Never. That's talk about a margin call. Yeah, I would need to expand class for an options. I would be talking all night if you get me into options. It's my bread and butter. I trade options. It's my favorite thing to do, like ever. Trade of futures past. Oh, what a quiet night. I'm running out of things to talk about. Let's answer this question, okay, Nick? Now, I'm not a risk manager. I'm not one of the risk managers. I don't make any determination. I'm a trader just like you guys. I'm a partner, with Topstep. I'm having this class. I love teaching, and I'm a trader. Okay, I go through the same process that everybody else does. I pay for the combines. I pay for the activation fees. I get funded, and I've taken out $186,000, and I'm sitting with just over $152,000 now in this account. So I'm at about $336,000 on the year at Topstep. But the question I've seen a few times is, how does one determine whether they can move from an XFA to a live account? And what does the maybe this is a better question for Mick, or if you guys tune to TopstepTV and they have a shoulder tap session, you could ask this question. But to be honest, I think what it boils down to is just consistency. Like, can you consistently manage your risk? Because they're risk managers, and that's what they're looking for, and be consistent at doing it and profitable. Whether that's a couple weeks, a couple months, that I can't give you a solid answer there. But yeah, if you want further explanation, tune in to shoulder tap. Shoulder tap's at noon, and usually it's Mick or one of the other risk managers, and they could be able to explain that in a lot more in depth. And they do trading cards and shoulder tap all the time. Consistency and risk management is what the key is. Are you a Cowboys fan, Nick?
No, not at all.
Do you watch football?
I love football. I love the NFL, but I am not a Cowboys fan. I live in Dallas, but I actually love to hate on the Cowboys, hate on Jerry Jones. But yeah, that was actually pretty hilarious seeing them get their butts spanked by the Saints this past weekend.
Fair enough. Crude is selling off here. Wow, it's selling off. It started. We're seeing some volatility in crude. Yeah, we are selling off. We are at an interesting level. Can we consider this to be an area of... Oh, I got to set this up again. Are we at a level of support and resistance?
Let's see.
I mean, it's looking like it. I mean, there was resistance, some support. As I'm saying that, we're finding some buyers stepping in right around these 650s.
Yeah, I was going to say it definitely could come down a little bit lower in the kind of mid to low 69, 69.30, 65, 69.20s. But yeah, definitely sitting above, kind of the top end of last week's profile 2 weeks ago. It's higher than, 2 weeks ago's point of control, basically right around 69 basically right around 69. So definitely could find buyers somewhere in those mid 69s here if we do get further weakness. But
yeah, still not tempted to even scalp this. No matter what I'm looking, and I'm not going to force anything. That's definitely not going to be the answer. Not seeing anything else throughout these markets. It's Coach Hoop. It is a roll as well. So
I love roll week.
No, I don't, man. I don't. I've traded pretty well, and I probably couldn't do it again, even if I tried, to be honest.
I have so many like trading mentors and people that I've learned from over years, and every once in a while during roll week they'll roll into a Discord or a group chat or something that I'm in, and they're just like, wait, you guys are trading this week? Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, I know.
That's
Exactly.
how you know. It's just like, there's people that you learn from that are much more experienced, have made plenty of money in this space, and they're not trading this week. So that says everything you need to say.
Manfred likes it.
How many trades did Manfred make today in an hour?
I am going to have no comment. Because
I have to go back and watch that. I heard that was good TV.
From what I hear, yes, Nick, it was something that you had to be there to witness, watch it. And you know what I like to do sometimes is whenever they have a good one like that, I'll wait until the live chat replay is available, and then I'll watch it, because it's not only fun to watch it, it's fun to see what the chat's saying while it's happening as well.
And guys, by no means am I saying do not trade roll week. Roll week, it can be a very opportunistic week, but if you've never traded it, if you're not used to some of the whipsaw that can happen, there are setups that will always present itself. For example, there were like 2 good ones here today, but it's just not my favorite week to put money at risk at times.
I mean, we did make money in the house account today, so everyone who likes to take a screenshot of that or talk about that we all seen how it happened. But that's just one of those where you just identify how the market's reacting and you just go along with it. And I think you even said you traded that today for a quick in and out to be able to take a payout tonight. Which if you guys missed it, if anybody missed that, to start the stream tonight during slow markets, we started off slow markets. Nick4Atick took a payout. He took $15,000 immediately to start the stream, which was great. And I appreciate that, Nick, taking it to slow markets, and hopefully, many more to come. And whenever you do get a chance, let me know. I'd love to have you live while we take payouts. Maybe I take my payouts only during slow markets too.
The question is, when is Dakota going to take a payout, Mr. 130, 140, whatever $1,000 in the XFAs that you're sitting on right now?
Maybe January 1st.
I knew you were going to say something like that.
Yeah, and you know why? Yeah, January 1st. For a lot of reasons.
Yeah, I'm in that same mindset a little bit now too. It's still important for me to take them, but now I have to do I am running a business, and does it make sense to take certain things, or does it make sense to wait till January 1st on some of these things?
Yeah, no, and what you'll get, I mean, this is another good point. Like, this is another one that we could be talking about for a very long time. Like, this is like a 5-hour long conversation that we could talk about, trading. How is trading? Is this going to be something where we're looking for just supplemental income and to like pay for a vacation, pay for just like, maybe am I going to pay for a car, right? Am I going to pay my car off, or using it for just catching up on bills or paying off a little bit of debt? Or are we just going to go full at this and look for it to be something where I want to be a full-time day trader, right? Is this going to be a business? Like, there's so many ways that people can view trading. I'm all for starting off slow, where if somebody has a full-time job, to then start learning how to trade, because the last thing you want is to depend on trading and have that level of pressure on you as a trader to say, I have to make money in the market or I can't pay my bills, because that's at such a huge level. It's on a whole nother level on the psychological hurdles that we're already dealing with as traders. So I'm always going to recommend starting off slow and then slowly build into it. And then eventually maybe one day you'll have that decision. But when you get there, it's looking at it as a business. 100%, Nick. I'm there. Yeah. I've went through that. I've dealt with tax issues, and not going to be ever talking about tax advice, because we have traders around the world and everyone's tax situation is always going to be different depending on where they live and their own individual situation. But yeah, that is something that's very important that us as traders need to pay attention to, is where are we at? What markets are we trading? What income are we going to have? Maybe have that conversation with a tax advisor, your local tax advisor, so that way you don't get caught off guard where, maybe you made a couple $100,000 this year, and it was an amazing year for you. And then the next thing you know, you get a call from the IRS saying you owe, or whatever your local government is saying you owe $50,000 and you already spent it. So you don't want to put yourself in a bad situation when you do start to make money.
So don't buy Lambos with your taxable income is what you're saying.
Unless it's a tax write-off, man.
Unless it's for the business.
Oh, man. Oh, I could go on that one.
Yeah, we're going to leave it at that.
Yeah, let's just leave it on that one. Yeah, I'm not all for like maybe the. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I have a Honda Civic, so I have no room to say there.
And I got the same truck that I've had since 2017. So
yeah, what I told everybody what I used my first payout for. I put tires on my car. I put it in the rest of the money into a savings account at 5.25%, and the rest in a brokerage account. I don't like to buy materialistic things in terms of like big price tag items, like anything over $5,000. I doubt I'm going to ever buy anything like that. It just seems absurd. Now there's
don't
always
get married, bro.
I'm not married. I have my beautiful girlfriend. But yeah, just a house. I mean, that could be a big price tag. Buy a house, something that brings you income as well, whether you're into, I'm speaking from a pure trader, right? And I know everyone sees those, like all those nice fancy cars online and the Lamborghinis and all this and this luxury lifestyle. And, maybe they're writing that off as a business expense. Like I bought this as an expense, or I'm doing this for a marketing expense and using that as a marketing expense. And that is fine. But from just like a pure trader standpoint, where I'm not marketing myself or doing any marketing, it just doesn't make sense to me. And to each their own. Get extra. I'm going, we're going to supersize it next time I go to McDonald's.
So yeah, guys, if you have more questions, feel free to keep throwing them in the chat.
Yeah, we're having fun. Like I said, no trades tonight, everybody. Just kind of just enjoying, relaxing. That's kind of been how it was last night for me too. That's what this type of a market is. Talk about market, answer questions, relax, get ready for FOMC.
And if anyone is wondering, like, why are they not trading? If you haven't looked at NQ and ES tonight, ES is stuck in about a 2-point range since we've been on the air. NQ has not moved more than like 9 points. So there's no trade here.
Yeah, that's fine. I am what I am. Yeah, you basically nailed it right there. Doesn't matter how much money I have. I love Warren Buffett, where he says, I sleep where I want to sleep, I eat what I want to eat, and I drive what I want to drive. It gets me from point A to point B. Top books for trading psychology. I will always recommend The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday.
And the one I love is still on audiobook. I do think it's a better audiobook than it is a read. It is still good to read, but Jared Tendler's book, The Mental Game of Trading, is a great audiobook. Just as you're doing things around the house, just to revert back to, I absolutely still do that and do love that one.
Yeah. Man, there's so many books I'm thinking of right now. I need to read more. I need to spend more time reading. I do too.
Always time.
We have this book, Nick, to read, the series 3. We could read this 3 or 4 times. I wish they had it on audio, to be honest.
How many times can you hear about corn spreads via headphones?
I know. We're sitting here learning about, vertical spreads.
I was jokingly sitting there thinking, like, did MP write this book? Like, why is every question like a corn spread? I was kind of like baffled by every example. It just seemed to use corn instead of cattle, instead of gold, other ones. It just was always defaulting to corn.
Well, this book does. Yeah, it does. It does. This book, it doesn't have a lot of pictures, but it has some. Someone in the chat's asking, you need a book with pictures. Here, look, series 3, right? So this was my favorite chapter. This is a double bottom. So there's some easy.
There's pictures.
There's some pictures in here, but I mean, some of this is what we go through at Topstep all the time. a double bottom, ascending triangle, descending triangle, some technical analysis, which is very basic and simple and straightforward, but it's important to know. Like some of these technical patterns can be very important, and you could definitely understand and see where if you're a farmer, right, and you're looking to sell your corn, right, and to hedge, there is a level of aspect that a lot of people might not know this kind of stuff. The Dorito pattern. Yeah, there's no Doritos in here. Oh, there you go. The mental game. Nice.
I put the link to Jared Tendler's audiobook there if anyone has Audible, but you can get it, I think, on other forms too. But that's the one I use. Like I said, guys, even last year I was in a drawdown probably around Thanksgiving. And I'm not kidding. I was listening to it like the entire day and a half that I was putting up Christmas lights like after Thanksgiving Day. So definitely still something I always revert back to if I'm struggling or just kind of need reaffirmation of, things I'm doing well and, just calling me out on my tilt, because some of the references that you'll use is very like timely to things you're definitely experiencing.
Interesting. Coach Hoop says, I'm working with Jared right now.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, I've absolutely loved Topstep X, Nick. Now, it's still in its infancy because it's new, right? It was just released this spring. But like if you click on the support over here, I've really enjoyed watching some of these traders. Like some of the stuff that we're adding, Topstep is adding to this. Built by traders for traders. And so I think it's just a matter of time until we're able to get a lot of this stuff finished up in Topstep X. So if you guys want anything like that, I mean, this is it. Like this is the place to go. I've went in, I've added a few things, I've upvoted it. And I mean, another cool thing is you could have conversations in here and look at these, right? These traders are just having conversations talking about this. And I mean, look how beautiful this is. Where else can you get? I'm sure there's other places where you could find something similar, but in our own platform at the click of the button, and it's on a browser, which is nice. But yeah, pictures, descriptions, talking about it, having that conversation. It's truly the definition of built by traders for traders. So I love seeing that, and so it's all about enabling, right? Trying to build a community, help traders, give us the tools to try and be successful and consistent in these markets, because at the end of the day, I mean, we are all in the same camp, right? Even if you're not at Topstep, and even if you're just on YouTube listening for free, we're all on the same side. We're all retail. we're Main Street. Like that's what it is. And tomorrow is FOMC, and it's going to be wild. We are Main Street, and we're all in here together. We're not really trading against each other.
No. And someone asked in the chat, Topstep X is free, guys. It's one of the few ones that you can readily trade on Topstep X that you don't, or not Topstep X, don't trade on Topstep that you do not need, you go out and buy a license for the way you would for some of the other platforms. So it is included, and it basically gives you access like almost immediately. Even when I get new combines or activate my XFAs, it's instantaneous, not even a 10-minute, 20-minute delay like some of my rhythmic ones have been in the past.
Yeah, there's always going to be bumps and kinks along the way, no matter where you're at and what platform you're using. Good question for you, Nick. Have you ever had an issue not being able to stop yourself from trading, like over trading? And what's your definition of over trading?
So it's definitely something, I mean, we always will still battle this. I definitely have gotten much better about not over trading, but part of that just comes with screen time experience and knowing yourself too. We talked about, Jared Tendler's book and all the other trading psychology books. Eventually you do have to kind of understand like who you are as a person and like what may set you off. If it's, hey, I was green, I was up $500 and now I took a loss, I'm only up 250. Is that tilting for you where you're suddenly trying to get it back? If you're in that mindset, yeah, you're definitely going to spiral and overtrade very quickly. So when I've gotten much better about not overtrading, but part of that is, I think, not necessarily even setting like a profit target for the day, but knowing when, in theory, the hours of the day that I'm good at trading but also knowing when, when volatility tends to die, there may not be another setup that presents itself. And then the only other opportunity may show up at the end of the day. So first of all, figure out the hours of the day that you're able to trade. And if you're trading outside of those hours, that's a great signal for that you're probably going to start over trading if it's, past your normal threshold that you would usually use. So for me, I don't really ever trade power hour. So if I'm sitting at my desk and actively trying to take a trade during power hour, I'm already probably over trading right there. So know yourself is kind of the key.
I'd love to be Manfred's broker. That's a fact. Yeah. To each their own. I mean, it depends on, to me, the true definition of overtrading is you trade more than what you plan on it. You see me time and time again. I review trader statistics. Maybe we could pull up a couple trader statistics, before the end of class. So in the Topstep Discord, I have my channel. If you want me to review your stats, throw them in there. And maybe that's something we could talk about. But there's a lot of great traders here at Topstep, and the ones that I typically have been reviewing, it's only like 1 to 5 trades a day. Like, that's it. And so maybe there's an argument to say if you've made over 10 trades in one day, you might be over trading. But then it depends on what's your strategy, what's your time frame you like to trade on. If I'm using my slow markets, Nick, where I might have 1 trade a day, and I might not even have a single trade a day. And I'm going to continue to go over my slow markets class. I design slow markets for traders who like have a day job like I do, or I did, and either going to college or whatever, where you place a pending order overnight and then you wake up the next morning and it either got filled or it didn't, and it had to take profit or a stop loss. So that was my main thing. And so you get used to understanding, okay, typically 1 to 2 trades is where my sweet spot is. Anything more than that could be over trading. Anything less than that is perfectly fine. So I would definitely say it depends on your individual strategy. But there are some extremes, right? Where if you're trading 100 trades a day, then maybe you need to take a step back and ask yourself if it's really worth it, if you are over trading. But the P&L speaks for itself. Let's see, going through some of this. I'm just checking some of these stats, Nick. Let's see. Oh, whoa. Did I just notice something new?
A new feature?
I just seen a new feature. Take a look at this, Nick. Do you see that? If you go to your calendar, I don't know if it's announced, but I just noticed it. If you go to your statistics, your performance statistics, and you scroll down at the very bottom, we have weekly totals and then a monthly P&L.
Look at us dropping new features on slow
Yeah,
market.
there we go. That's a little, what is it, WikiLeaks or what is this? Trader Leaks? Topstep X Leaks?
Did you read the show notes, Dakota, is the question.
Hey, shh. No, that is not on there. This is brand new.
Love it.
I like that. I really like that, to where you don't pay attention to the day-to-day. Weekly can be more important. Nice. I like that. That is interesting. And it shows you the total number of trades.
That's cool. Aesthetically, though, I mean, I know there's no trades on Saturday. Can we put a total there instead of Saturday? I don't know. That's just my immediate,
I
OCD
agree.
brain.
The very first day, I was like, wait, I was looking at this trader statistics, and I was like, oh, this trader had trades on Saturday? And then I realized, like, no, that's totals. Okay. It's still a cool feature.
Is this yours?
This is my statistics, yeah.
I was going to say, this trader is great. I was like, who is this?
Well, thank you, Nick. Yeah, this is ×5. So you can tell that was a great week for me. Times everything by 5 because it's copy traded on these 5XFAs. I like that. That is really cool. And it shows the monthly P&L. So then you could just switch month to month and just go through and see what your P&L is. Okay, great. That makes, man, see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. These new features. Wow. Improve, continue to improve. Let's go. Oh, well, let's review this. Then we could maybe talk about my statistics. Let's do that first, and then we'll move on to the other traders. This is not normal for everybody in the chat. This is not normal, so don't go for this. Of course, it would be nice if you could just win every day. Like I said, I probably could never duplicate this, even if I tried before. But yeah, even if you look into this, you could click on it and like you see the trades, right? I mean, it's not just one or a few trades. This has been how I've been trading since the TopstepTV takeover starting on Wednesday. All of this was been taken live in front of everybody, which is kind of interesting to think about. All of these trades basically live in front of everybody, whether it's on the TopstepTV takeover or when I've been on fast markets. And yeah, going back to what I said earlier, Nick, let me know what your thoughts on this one. Why would someone not show their executions? I'm always going to push this. I'm going to continue to push this because I'm going to make it a goal of mine, because I think it's very important. The more traders I come and I see that are brand new, that are just looking to learn and to become funded themselves and to make money in the market. There's so much stuff out there online. There's so many educational videos. There's so many people trying to teach everything. And traders who are trying to show like, hey, looky here, I'm the best trader, or like, watch this, do that. And it's like doing it live and showing you executions is dramatically different than looking at like social media posts or any of that. So please understand, I never want anybody to follow my trades, or I would never recommend anybody following anybody's at TopstepTV's trades and copying them, and understanding that that is the number one reason, Nick, why I am at Topstep and why I am here dedicating my time and doing my best to help everybody, is because of transparency and getting people into a live account and seeing them take payouts. Yeah, what's your thoughts on that, Nick? I'm going to answer some of these questions because now everyone's just
and to take it a step further, it's not only jumping in and showing executions, but also articulating in real time what we're seeing as far as price action and kind of the thesis behind entering versus, any Joe Schmo on YouTube or wherever who's just going to enter a trade and they're going to have their own set of failures and blown accounts and things like that. But are they actually not only even jumping into a trade and showing you are trading live, but are they actually explaining the concept of what they're seeing? So that way you can learn from the success of a trade or why it didn't work out, what necessarily changed. And that's kind of what we are trying to do. Even the house account, when, we take losses or we add and it moves against us and things like that. There's lessons in all of that. And I think Dakota, myself, Rips, Hogue, we always try to articulate what changed in the market and why we got stopped or what exactly happened there and why the trade thesis was invalidated in theory. How many times do we pull trades, Dakota, too, that we kind of liked and then something changes in real time?
Yeah, all the time. And Bernie says, don't quit till you're green. I mean, sometimes I mean, this past month, sure. I mean, I didn't even quit while I was on TopstepTV throughout the day. I was just like, hey, if I'm going to be in front of my charts, I'm going to trade them. And it just worked out really well. I started, and there's plenty of days, and you guys can ask me anything. I don't really care. But take this day. I think my biggest drawdown was today. Look, that was probably one of my worst trading drawdowns. $1,500 on this account. $1,500. Ended up turning that one around. And then I started trading micros, and so yeah, I not too dramatic drawdowns, like $500 or $600, but you can always times this by 5 and make that as just as dramatic. There's an $800 one, but yeah, I don't mind. Anybody could ask me anything. I don't really care whether how difficult that question is. I'll try and answer it. But as we wait for those questions to come in, here is some statistics, Nick. And if you want to review these with me, if you see anything, let me know. I think this will be a great note to leave it off. We can talk about a couple last things and then end it for the day. So this is an XFA, Express Funded Account, and it looks like they're just about break even. Let me look, because this trader has been trading since July. So been in this account for a while now. So a lot of trade reports. You're up about $1,000, about 50% on the trade win percentage, 1.22 on the risk reward. I love seeing this. You're getting a lot of experience and a lot of time in the markets under this level of pressure, which an XFA is one where you could get a payout. And then as we start to scroll down, you could just see these trader statistics. Looks like you're trading micros, M and Q. So micros, it's always great to see a good looking equity curve. You could see that. It's not pretty, but it's green and it's up and to the right. Are you noticing anything about these? Maybe. I do like that weekly P&L.
I mean, nothing stands out. It does look like maybe one at bat, and if it didn't work out, they didn't come back, which is a good thing.
Okay. You're talking about these dailies where it was just one trade.
It's like two trades, so maybe
trades.
one round trip in theory. Or maybe two. I can't exactly tell.
Yeah, it's 2 trades. 2 round trips is it? Yeah. That's hard to do.
Their stop loss is pretty wide. I mean, just the wrong side of a move, it looks like. But I like not continuing to force it. If you came into the day with a bias in theory, and you took the trade, you took the setup, it didn't work out, you're not then still being married to it and letting that snowball further. So you had your setup, it didn't work out, you took your stop out, and you walked away for the day. So there's a lot to learn there, and that's a good habit to have, because statistics will play in your favor if you are taking that setup, over time. And it could just be a small sample size here where, we've had a downtrend market. So if you were trying to long at the wrong times, I mean, you can definitely get punched in the face, and especially in some of these opens. I didn't see the time of the day though, Dakota, too. That could also be telling.
Yeah, let's see. AM. It's right an hour after the New York session opens.
But even looking at the calendar here, it does seem like, this person may be, taking that one setup, and statistics are going to be on their side in the long run.
Yeah.
So it could just be a slight drawdown. That's all we're seeing. A couple bad days in a row, but the same trade thesis, principle, and, risk management.
I agree. What I love about these is basically what you pointed out. The whole month of August, look at this. You're not trading every single day. So that's impressive. It takes a lot of discipline not to trade when the markets are open. And like 1 or 2 trades, like, wow. Highly impressive to trade 1 or 2 trades a day, win or lose, you finish it up, and you're doing it in micros. So highly impressive to be able to do that in micros and not trade every single day, and also come out with, I mean, it looks like you're eligible for a payout, but you're not letting your losing days just wipe out multiple winning days. And so that's, I mean, regardless of P&L, just that process is outstanding.
Yeah, and with that mindset too, because Dakota, you're very good at this too. I'd be interested to understand what is shaking you out of some of these winners with that principle. If it's a set take profit, or are you letting it ride? Are you trailing your stop? Because that's where you can kind of shift that P&L curve back upwards. If clearly when you catch a piece of this trend, like there was that point, or that one trade that you caught like 50 points on NQ, most likely, I would assume that may have not been the end of the trend. So are you scaling out of these? Are you leaving runners, or are you taking full profit, at a defined take profit after you've already entered? Because that's the only thing I could think of too, is, if you're playing statistics and you're going to trade this way, you do need to kind of let your winners play out a little bit.
I mean,
it looks like you do that some days, it seems.
Yeah. So it looks like all in, all out. For example, like this day, 60 points, all in, all out on 3 micros, all in, all out on 3 micros. Man, it's such a beautiful, highly impressive. Keep up the great work. I love seeing this. Don't think about the P&L. Just don't. $1,000 is $1,000. I mean, this is a beautiful equity curve. You continue down this path and you stay following this process, day in, day out, do this for a year, you're going to be a very highly successful trader doing just this. And the reason told, you're not over trading, one trade. Risk managers absolutely love this. You simply scale. You just change the position size, whether it's like right now, for example, you're trading micros. Maybe one day you get to a point where you're trading minis. And so instead of 3 micros, you're trading 3 minis. $1,000 turns into $10,000 doing this exact same thing. So beautiful example of process over profits. And then bang, you're already there, right? There's always areas to work on, but love seeing that you're not trading every day and you're being very selective in your trades.
Yeah, this is a good card. It's one of the better ones we've seen on at least that I've seen you show me.
In terms of consistency, yes. 100%.
Yeah. With that profit factor, I agree with Dakota. And, that winning percentage, I mean, you're doing the right things. You've clearly got a good edge that you can continue to execute on.
Yeah. Wow. Well, the time goes by so fast, even when it's very, very slow. Look at this barcode. Like, that's the definition of a barcode, guys, on the NASDAQ. Not much really to talk about in terms of markets, just preparing for FOMC that everybody else is talking about. Yeah, really glad to have the Topstep team back from their retreat. And I know they started posting some of their stuff on their Instagram. So, I mean, that would be another great way to take a look. They've been also sharing some of this fun stuff that they've done on TopstepTV. Payout Club. You hear MP talking about that Payout Club? I'm excited. I want me a 250K hat. That's what I'm going for.
Whatever he wants to do, I'm in that same camp. If we go back to last year too, so whatever the new high marks are, I think you and I have already set them and hit them. So whenever they want to roll those out, I will gladly rock the swag.
They need something when we do the live event. We need something to show that we're better than everybody else.
Yeah, just whenever I get one from MP though, I'm just gonna be like, all right, when's the next one? I'm just gonna keep raising the bar.
Oh, there's
and then we're gonna have to think of something creative. Where whether it's a year, maybe it's next year if Dakota and I keep doing what we've been doing. But when we get to the 1 million mark, Danielle, I see you in the chat. We need to think of we need help R&Ding what that should be too.
Yeah. You scan this at CVS, this barcode, and it's gonna come up with Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah, maybe the 500K cat is like a sombrero or a cowboy hat. It's got to be something unique.
Yeah, that'd be a sombrero.
I'm trying to think of, we just need new hats, something that definitely is loud and in your face for 500K or $1 million.
Just a 10-gallon hat with gold all over it, 250K. So when we're sitting there in the audience, yeah, why not? Keep grinding out. And all jokes aside, I think it's such a cool thing. Everybody who's taking payouts at Topstep, what was it, the $5,000 or more, that is a really cool thing to do. I'd love to see it. I'm excited for an in-person event when it happens, and I'd be excited to see a lot of traders bringing it, wearing it, showing it off. I mean, it's less about the dollar amount. I mean, that is a big badge to the fact that you pulled out money from the markets, from a prop firm. I mean, even $5,000 is a huge amount. It can change lives depending on where you're at.
Absolutely. That's why the money in your pocket is all that matters, guys. I think we got in this, or at least I said it in the chat today. I don't know, somehow we got on the topic of payouts during fast markets, but a payout is greater than anything else and all the other noise and all the BS you see on Twitter and other YouTubers and stuff, guys. All that matters is money into your pocket from your trading.
Yep, and that's I agree 100%. all fluff aside, all entertainment, all education, it all comes down to what? Yep. Can you make money in the markets, and can you put it in your pocket, and hopefully for the better, right? And change your life. That's what we are all here for. At the end of the day, I'm happy to always be here and help. If you're struggling, keep going through it. I see questions in the chat. I see questions all the time. You know, what can we do when we're struggling? I'm always going to be the fan for keep it simple. Maybe you're overcomplicating it. Whatever the situation is, keep going. I see traders come and go all the time. Don't get lost in all the craziness of the internet. Do not get lost in everything that's going on for the entertainment purpose. Not just here, just everywhere. And keep it simple. Don't follow anybody in terms of follow exactly what they're saying. You know, keep it simple. And yeah, tomorrow's a new day. I think that's it, right? Any last things? I'm going to end it in...
No, guys, trade safe. We're in a range. Be careful tomorrow. If you get your points early, get out, do something else, come back, touch grass, watch FOMC with a nice ice cold beverage would be my advice.
Yeah. Yeah. And ban that guy. Ban him.
Bye.
Yep. Ban that guy. We're going to end it there. So take care and see you tomorrow.
Cheers, guys.